Is that better?
We got you.
Okay.
All right. So this how it's gonna go. Already, I met you before, but this how it's gonna go. We thank you so much for joining us. A lot of the youth on here already said they looking forward to this conversation. Isaiah is my son. He gonna introduce us, and then I'm gonna run down your bio, and he gonna ask you some questions from the teenager's perspective. We normally save this on our live and then upload it to YouTube.
Yeah, you gotta check out our YouTube channel.
All right, so go ahead.
So I'm Isaiah Exum, like she said. This is my mom, Letitia.
She know Rue.
She know Rue? Yeah, that's my homie. That's like my brother right there. And so we founded our company, Positive Role Models. Positive Role Models is a social enterprise under our parent company, LTI Concepts. Our mission is to serve, inspire, and lead. And with that, we hope to build the capacity of future leaders, not only in the district, but around the world. We do this by hosting workshops and these IG Lives to promote positivity within the community. And 10% of all of our proceeds goes directly back into the youth here.
All right, so for y'all who don't know, I'm let Queen Afi give her own, but this is what I know. She's a mental health consultant in the DMV area, domestic violence advocate. She has a very unique perspective where she talks to the gentleman as well. Has a very intimate story with regards to domestic violence. Has worked with our youth throughout DC and educating us on domestic violence. And so we are extremely honored to have her here today. Did I miss something?
No, you did a wonderful job.
I appreciate it. So I'm going to let Isaiah ask his first question and we're going to hop to it.
So my first question, if you don't mind, is could you tell us about your daughter's story for those who don't know?
Absolutely. I can't share her story without sharing a little bit of mine. So I founded Domestic Violence Wears Many Tags organization in 2008. And I wanted an organization that will be able to educate, be a educational resource, as opposed to a shelter or a place that supplies housing. You know, I wanted something that supplied education. Okay. Looked out there, did my research, couldn't really find too much on that perspective. I also wanted an organization that was going to talk to our men and young men that are victims of domestic violence. Researched that, nobody was having that conversation. And I also wanted the abuser side, male or female perspective from the abuser side. Didn't find that. Okay, so I said, okay, wow, so I got a conversation here, another perspective when we talk about domestic violence. This is great. Reason why I wanted those top 3 things was because I was the victim and the abuser. So I started out, you know, getting into it with my boyfriend, you know, getting smacked, my hair pulled out, Timberlands in my face, pistols to my head, the whole 9, right? Then when my best friend got shot 5 times, I said that would never happen to me. So then I became the abuser, literally dictating the whereabouts and conditions of my victim at all times. And so as I'm going around the community throughout the DMV, having this conversation with the young people, my daughter traveled with me, encouraging me to talk to y'all and speak to y'all and let you have this raw, uncut version of domestic violence. So I'm doing that. I did that 7 to 8 years before my daughter was murdered in 2016. My daughter was murdered in 2016. So I had been having the conversation, and domestic violence knocked on my door. My daughter was in a young relationship, teen dating violence, a young relationship, where, of course, she was experiencing emotional and verbal abuse and some financial abuse. And then things got heated. She got pregnant, you know, with her daughter, and things started to get more heated, you know, because he's not changing. He's not changing because I'm pregnant now. And then it led into, of course, after she had the baby, some physical stuff started going on. So now they fighting, okay?
Yeah.
And on this particular night, 7:30, 2016, my daughter leaves my house, and I'm saying, where you going? She say, I'm going back over here to Marlboro Plaza with him. Okay, I say, really? She said, yeah. I said, okay, well, all right, I can't, I can't.
Right.
I done gave you all I could give you,
Yeah.
You gonna take your daughter over there. I understand, young love. You gonna take your daughter over there to be with her father. You pressing this on this man. You pressing the whole be a man that only has one woman on him. He don't understand that right now. But okay,
Right.
you go ahead over there. She goes over there. He wasn't even home. She get there at 9 o'clock. He don't come till 2:30. Something to 3 in the morning. I'm saying, why you couldn't stay home? You know what I mean? But when you in love, you do all kind of things. She ended up over there, and according to him, because I talked to him directly, my daughter opened the door and let him in. He said it wasn't no arguing and fighting. I said, well, what was going on? He was like, Miss Gaston, it was quiet. We wasn't arguing. We wasn't fighting. She went back on in there and sat down in the room with the baby. And so, okay, so you just wasn't nothing going on, and you just decided to kill my daughter. To raise the pistol to her head and shoot my daughter in the head. And of course, that conversation ended quick because, I'm on a jail call, so I can't say a whole lot over the phone.
Right.
And now my daughter's dead due to teen dating, domestic violence.
Yeah, I'm so sorry for your loss. We have a number of people saying that.
Amen.
So you
bless
probably
your heart.
see the comments there. So sorry for your loss. I think that's that's like a calling. If you were already doing that work, and I don't want to say that your daughter's death was necessary, but it's just amazing to me that you were already doing that work and then experienced that so intimately.
Yeah.
You had another question?
My second question was like, why do you think domestic violence is so impactful on teens? How it affects us?
Teen boys.
To teens? To teen boys or teen girls?
Both.
Both. Yeah, to the teens. You guys are looking for somebody to relate to. Somebody who can match your, let's say, trauma. If you have experienced, the loss of a parent or the loss of a loved one, someone delicate, or if you have experienced abandonment issues, you never knew your mom, you never knew your dad, or if you come from a background of a family where it's dysfunctional, you guys can relate together on that. It makes sense for you to date somebody who can relate to that and has the same story or almost, the same story as I had. But what you guys fail to realize is that trauma don't work like that. Trauma work like you two could be in that relationship and see triggers and end up killing one another. Based off the triggers that is related to your trauma. It doesn't necessarily have anything to do with that person, but hell, y'all got together because y'all can relate though. Because we got almost the same story. That's what I'm finding. You guys are bonding off of trauma. And my daughter didn't have a lot of trauma in her life. She didn't have much trauma in her life, although she seen me shed blood before on somebody. She did see that. But I made amends with her. I made that all right for her, right? And I began to do things differently in my relationships, but still, maybe some things could have still resonated with her. The thing that I know about my daughter was that she wanted to help. She has this helping spirit with helping people become positive and do good and see something in themselves that they can't see. Well, she couldn't do that with her baby father. He wasn't having it.
Mm-hmm.
He like, enough is enough. You ain't about to change me. You can't change me. I don't care if you pregnant or not. You can't change me.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta change on my own. See what I mean? And so I'm finding that it's called traumatic bonding.
Yeah.
You guys are bonding off of trauma
Mm-hmm.
versus knowing how to date, knowing what really is a healthy relationship.
Okay, we got some questions. I had some questions, but I can't see that. He gonna ask some questions from the people that's asking questions. I want to get their questions answered.
Amen.
So,
What are some signs of an abuser?
yeah, the first question was, what are the signs of an abuser?
Yeah, that's a very interesting one, and I must say I'm the only one helping my young people understand the abuser side in this, because it's not just all about the victim. It's about the abuser too, because research shows that the abuser was once a victim in a lot of these cases. Okay, so we dealing with victim, and then we dealing with victim turn abuser all the time. You heard me? Victim turn the abuser all the time. Okay, and so one of the things that I know as an abuser is that we groom you. One of the number one things that we start out doing is grooming that victim. How do we begin the grooming process? We begin the grooming process by listening to your trauma, listening to what you're lacking, listening to what you so-called want to love. We're going to provide you with the things that you so-called never had in your life before. We're going to make everything all right for you. Is the process of grooming, which is the number one warning sign of an abusive personality. Okay, number two is going to follow verbal abuse. So I'm going to be verbally saying things to my potential victim, because right now you're a potential victim.
Right.
Because I'm just at the grooming stage.
Okay.
So you are a potential victim. So I'm going to do little drive-bys. I'm going to say, you, bitch, go sit down somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm going to slip that in on you, right?
Yeah.
And I'm going to see I'm going to see if you going to check me, or I'm going to see if you be like, why you say something to me like that, though? What I do wrong?
Right.
You know, when you start doing that, that's more bait for me to get into your psyche and begin to control your thoughts. Deem you a full victim at that moment. So the cycle starts with the grooming process. It's disguised well.
That's a good explanation. Yeah. So I've had somebody tell me that grooming reminds me of somebody like nurturing you like rocking you to sleep, honestly.
Yeah.
Right,
it can feel like that in the beginning. In the beginning, it can feel like that. Because I want you to feel loved. I want you to feel like you never had, I want to fulfill that spot where you never had love before. In the beginning, it can feel like that. But very quickly, I got to start implementing verbal abuse.
Okay.
That's why verbal abuse is the number 2 warning sign. It's going to be followed with the grooming process. And by this time, what our young people do, they make the mistake of having premature sex. That just only gives the abuser leeway.
Yeah.
That's a part of the grooming process.
Yeah.
That's the part of the grooming process for me to have sex with you very quickly.
Yeah.
Because then that becomes bait. Okay. The other thing that the abuser can do to the person is sort of in the grooming process, and another thing of verbal abuse or emotional abuse is say, I'm gonna kill myself. The abuser starts saying, I'm gonna kill myself. I don't love myself because you don't love me.
Right.
You ain't feeling me, so I might as well just die. The abuser will start saying things like that too, to be able to lure that victim in to stay in the relationship.
And is it the same with emotional abuse? I think sometimes teens feel like if they're not being hit or if it's not physical, that they not in a domestic violence type of situation.
Absolutely. So the tags, when you hear me say domestic violence wears many tags, we're talking about verbal being the number one way that victim can get in, that abuser can start getting inside of your head. When does domestic violence become infectious to a teen or to a young person, to an older person in childhood. In childhood, it's induced in childhood. And then, you know, when we get old in our teenage, if it's still unresolved for us, if we're still living with that same parent abuser, or, you know, whoever that caretaker is, abuser, it's nothing for me to get into a relationship with somebody else who does the same thing. Because what? It's my normal. It's my normal. It's what I know. So that's going to be verbal and emotional abuse. Those two tags come together. You can't have one without the other. They are the top two tags. And somebody can be in a relationship and never get hit. Never get hit.
Yeah, we do a lot of work with, I wrote a resource for parents to help them understand, like, what you do to your child when they're children. If we don't address that stuff, that's how kids grow up to be whatever. You know what I mean? Okay, what's the next question?
We got a lot of questions. So one of the first questions are, what are the signs of a healthy relationship? And then, can you ever stop being an abuser?
What was the second one?
The second one was, can you ever stop being an abuser? Which is also another question where, how do you break this cycle?
How do you stop being an abuser?
So, abuser, yeah. How do you stop being a victim? How do you stop being a victim?
Wow.
Because victims turn abuser all the time.
Yeah.
You know, we got to educate both. We got to educate the victim and the abuser. Ain't nobody telling y'all that they the abuser like I tell y'all I'm the abuser. No abusers come forth because ain't nobody trying to educate abusers. So how can they break the cycle? They don't have a platform to tell their story and be non-judgment type of atmosphere. You know, the only time we really get to tell our story is on the other side of that wall. We talking about prevention though. You guys want prevention methods, right? So we got to be educating victims and abusers that, okay, what's going on here? Why would you stay in a relationship like this? Why would you abuse another person? See, we got to be asking those questions to victim and abusers. But America is biased on this conversation. They are still just only thinking women are victims of domestic violence. And so we don't get the abusers, don't get prevention stuff. You know, male victims don't get prevention stuff. You know, so abusers got to hear somebody saying, I'm an abuser. The same way another victim got to hear somebody saying, I'm a victim of domestic violence. An abuser need to hear somebody say, I'm an abuser of domestic violence. Okay? And a lot of times when most people hear my story, they start to confess that, you know, they are abusers too. So that's a good thing on my part. But I'm one woman out here trying to reach all y'all young people like that. And everybody acting like they the victim. Oh, y'all not the victim in domestic violence situations. Or some of us are flat out abusers. Come on now. We need to keep it a trillion for real. And abusers got to get help too. They got to be able to go into a therapist's office and say, look, man, I've been abusing somebody. You know. I get abusers need to be able to have that platform. We don't have that platform. They locked me up, sent me behind the wall, and never told me I had nothing going on with domestic violence. They charged me with simple assault or assault with a deadly weapon. That's what they charged me with.
Wow.
How is that telling me that I tried to kill my baby father? That just sounds like I was in a fight, as opposed to I tried to kill my baby father. You see what I'm saying? They needed to let me know, the court system should have let me know that I was in a domestic violence relationship. And we need to get you specialized care for domestic violence. These therapists out here, the mental health system don't offer specialized care to our young people to deal with their domestic violence issues. You got all these nonprofits trying to help them deal with their domestic violence issues, when some of those nonprofits focus could be something else. But you got to focus on this first before you can get them to reach what your platform really is as a nonprofit, because they don't pay for specialized care when it comes to domestic violence.
Wow.
I didn't know that.
That's very interesting. I have some colleagues on here. I did not know that there's not payment. That's interesting. That's interesting. As a
No, it's
licensed
not.
therapist, that's true.
It's not. It's not.
That's
And
true.
you just
That's
going to,
crazy.
a lot of our young people just end up in general therapy as opposed to their focus being domestic violence. And when we get into the education and chopping down what I'm doing right here for you, chopping down those signs and tags for the person who is actually experiencing this. When you go to generalized therapy, it's damn if I do, damn if I don't. But if you go to specialized care, they got to focus on your domestic violence issues.
Right. Okay. That's cool. What was the other questions? Man, you dropping so many gems, man. Look, for real, it's a lot of young people.
Somebody said something about a healthy relationship.
Yeah, somebody said, what are signs of a healthy relationship?
Look, my young people over Woodson High School told me that financial abuse, it ain't no problem.
What?
Okay, it ain't no problem with financial abuse. Financial abuse ain't no problem. My boyfriend ain't got to work. My girlfriend ain't got to work. Hold on. We're talking about a healthy relationship, though.
Yeah.
We're talking about a healthy relationship. Two people bring their finances to the relationship, boo. That's going to be healthy, baby. Okay?
Right.
Now, the other thing is trust. Our young people got a lot of trust issues. You don't want to trust nobody. But you say loyalty. I'm loyal. Y'all toss loyalty around, man, like it's water. And loyalty has nothing to do with the relationship.
100.
Loyalty has everything to do with yourself. And that if you are in an abusive relationship, you be loyal enough to get yourself away from an abusive relationship. But you think you being loyal to the other person. Same thing with my daughter. Loyalty. And it's lies. Loyalty, lies, betrayal. The lies. She was not believing the lies in the relationship. You guys had the receipts. You on each other's Twitter, Facebook, and all that, seeing receipts. And you refuse to believe them. You refuse to believe that your partner could be doing some things outside of the relationship. But yet you want to fight. You know what I mean? You want to punch. You want to kick. You want to do all that to get somebody to love you. And in that comes betrayal. Somebody gonna die.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. So let me tell you something. Loyalty ain't a part of no intimate relationship. It's called trust. Trust is a part of an intimate relationship. Why, Queen? Because trust is meant to be broken and gained again.
Yeah.
Trust is meant to be broken and gained again. Loyalty says you gotta die.
Yeah. Yeah.
There is no comeback from loyalty. It's hard to come back from this whole loyalty thing that you guys have concocted, which is the wrong thing to include in an intimate relationship. You want to go with trust because trust is meant to be broken and gained again. Okay? The other thing you need to learn how to do is communicate. You have poor communication. You guys shut down. Okay? You don't talk. And when you do talk, it's angry, it's loud, it's boisterous, and nothing is getting across to your partner to help understand what you feel and how you feel, because you don't know how you feel, because you wasn't given the words to feel.
Come on.
That's so serious right there.
I mean, I gave y'all my top 3. Trust, communication, and finance.
Hey, look, y'all. We answering y'all questions. Her organization is on our page. Y'all make sure y'all tap in and support it. If y'all can contribute to help support, we gonna contribute from Positive Role Models so she can continue to spread this message. We only got about 30 minutes, y'all. So we are at that mark. Try to get one more question before we go. I think we got them all.
It's a young lady on there that I want to say something to her. Her name is Renaya.
Renaya. Renaya, a lady.
Renaya said that she never thought about it that way. What you talking about, Renaya? Share that with me. I'm interested in knowing your thoughts.
Okay. Yeah.
Is it another question?
I didn't see another one.
No, I haven't
That
seen
trauma
another.
bonding you talking about and loyalty, I didn't realize until I was older that you needed trust to build a safe relationship versus a relationship built on loyalty. Because if you disloyal, you right, then I gotta hurt you. But when we build
Right.
safe relationships, you know what I'm saying, we can make different decisions. She said she didn't.
Exactly. Oh,
Go ahead.
communication is shutting down.
Right down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys have got to learn how to communicate effectively. It is something that you don't do well. And some of us think that you do it at the top of your game. You think that being blunt, you think that saying a lot of explicitives gets your point across. It does not. You have to use words to match feelings. So you have to use words like, I think you're being calculating towards me. Calculating is a word that the brain can identify with and associate that with a real definition, which applies to your feeling. Okay? You cannot use a lot of explicitives when you are in a relationship. We're talking about a healthy relationship. When you are trying to communicate healthy with someone, you must have words to feelings. So you have to say, look, what you're doing to me, it makes me feel disappointed. I'm disappointed in the way you treat me. See, that the brain can understand the word disappointment as being a real feeling. And the person should be able to address that with, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make you feel disappointed. I'm going to try to give it my best the next time. This is what you want. All that motherfucker and you dumb and all that stuff y'all use like that is unhealthy for your relationship in communication. The relationship is damaged once you have a lot of verbal abuse going on in that relationship. I'm sorry. How can I practice that? She's very what's her name again?
Renaya.
So, she's very in tune here.
Yeah, we got that. We offer them services too, Renaya. We can help you learn how to. That's part of our mission as Positive Role Models, is to teach you. When we say build capacity of future leaders, is we teach you some principles like communicating, like disagreeing.
That's right.
Like how to self-regulate, how to understand development, how to understand trauma. So, Renaya, I think you just started following us, so we could definitely help you with that. And then link you back to some other sources, but that's kind of what we do over here, is give y'all those skills that you could take into your adulthood. We also got some resources we wrote, so we can help you learn how to do that. And that's our mission here, is to, when we say build the capacity of future leaders, you gotta have that stuff. You gotta have that stuff so you can teach your children coming behind you how to do it.
Mm-hmm. But the thing is, though, is that the dinner table.
We had the 30 minutes.
Oh, let me throw this last mark in there. I'm gonna let y'all go. The dinner table should be teaching
I ain't gonna hold you.
The dinner table should be teaching our young people how to communicate, how to feel, how to be able to be their true, transparent self at their dinner table. Unfortunately, a lot of young people are not at their dinner tables. Okay, they're in different places, in shelters. Some are homeless, but they still want love, though. Okay. And so it's not the responsibility really of nonprofits and things like that to do that, because you guys have your own mission. You know what I mean? In schools to be able to do that. The school has a curriculum, not a behavioral chart, but we're having to step up to the plate and give our young people things that the dinner table is not giving them. Folks, we have got to do better at that dinner table. We have got to do better with allowing our young people how to be able to self-regulate, like she said, be emotionally intelligent, and identify with their DNA. You guys do not even talk about the DNA at the dinner table because it's so jacked up. So yes, our young people don't know who they are because Martin Luther King and the rest of them ain't their DNA. You are. We need to start having more DNA conversations at our dinner table with our young people so they can begin to know what it is directly that they are connected to. What are they connected? The personality, the characteristics of the person, the genetics of the person. Who are you? Who are you?
Hey, you speak so eloquently about what I've been saying too. Parents, come on now. Come on. They messed up because we not there. We not doing what we supposed to do as well. And so that's why this gonna be like a shameless plug, but this is why we go. We got skits that we do, and it talks about a resource I wrote talked about tackling stuff. And you got to come up with a new family standard operating agreement because you ain't been you tell them I'm gonna smack excuse my language, I'm gonna smack the shit out of you and think that they not gonna say that when they get older, that they not gonna communicate like that. So
Right.
you touched so eloquently on everything I believe in. Already knew who you were, man. I appreciate everything you doing in this city. I appreciate everything you doing for our young folks. Did we freeze or
Thank you so much.
I think
I think
it's
I
back now.
Hey, so I'll we probably try to book you, huh? I think you, huh?
can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, I think I froze up on y'all.
yeah. So we gonna Arika gonna send something over to you as a token of our appreciation. Y'all tap in. If y'all could donate to her cause, man, we gonna try to get you back again. Look, they want you
Good. I
back
want to
for
come back
month.
again. Yes, I definitely want to come back again for a part 2.
So Arika gonna lock you in. We gonna send something over. Arika, make sure you send that. We gonna send over something as a token of our appreciation.
Amen.
Y'all tap in. Tell everybody we only be having our guests for 30 minutes. We gotta be respectful of their time, y'all. Queen Abby, thank you from the bottom of my heart. We gonna see y'all for part 2, man. We'll see y'all soon. We could talk about how we collaborate, whatever. So
We family
Arika,
now, y'all.
yeah, straight
We
up.
family now. We family
Arika,
now.
Arika gonna tap in, y'all. Thank y'all. If y'all got any more questions about how to do any of this stuff, how to keep following us, DM us if y'all need to talk. We got a session called Get It Off Your Chest Wednesdays where we teach y'all some of that stuff. We answer some of those questions. I'm a licensed clinical social worker here in DC, grew up in DC. So I can do some of them things for you. Isaiah is being taught some of those things actively, so he can help out too. So we love y'all, man. Thank y'all for joining us. Thank you, Queen, again.
Thank
and
you
we'll see you soon.
Much love. Much love. Much love.
All right. All right, y'all.
Alrighty.